Here we go now. A case of beer, some barbecue. There's no doubt that I'm better than you. With these looks and these moves, you can't blame me for being so rude. The land of the red, white, and blue will be my home till the day I die. I'm every lady's fantasy. I'm the American guy.
Check, check, check.
The trailer park is where I'm from. You better believe I have about 27 guns. Baseball games, pickup trucks. I'm leagues above you other dumb schmucks. I'm from where the women are hot and the Twinkies are deep fried. And every day I pledge allegiance to God and country. I'm the American guy.
Happy Friday, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to the Filsinger Games Fan Podcast. Happy New Year! We haven't spoken to you since last year. But welcome, everybody. My name is Grandpa Choco, and this is the Filsinger Games Fan Podcast, episode number 76, the podcast that is ready to kick ass for a new year of tabletop wrestling fun. We are so happy to have you here today, and we are going to start things off. We're going to start the year off by sending out a big thank you to our patrons. The patrons who support Saturday Morning Media over at patreon.com/Saturday Morning Media. Huge thank you to all the patrons, but a special shout out to our patron producers, Dorothy Pachoco, Eve Cunning, Kathy Crawford, Tony Urbano, David Akers, and Vicky Sebring. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is January 7th, 2022. And the news on the Filsinger Games front has been a little bit quiet. Or has it? Or has it? As you know, here at the Filsinger Games Fan Podcast, we dig deep to find the news stories. And we do have a few news stories this week, so let's get right to it. We are going to start with some news about Champions of the Galaxy. And over on the Roll Up podcast, Todd, our own tournament master, let it slip that 2092 Reimagined will be coming out this year. So that is something to look forward to this year. That will be, I believe, in a Champions of the Galaxy release cycle. But that news was leaked over on the Roll Up podcast on their latest episode, which is a great episode, by the way, with my good pal Zeke, who we'll be talking about here in just a few minutes. But there you go. There's a little tidbit of news coming up into the future. And another piece of news that our own tournament master spilled on the message boards is that Sudden Death 2113 and 2114, the online versions of those game editions, will be coming out in the next couple of months. And he also added, hopefully everything else, which is just the remaining gaps, I think it's 2015 through 2018, those remaining sets will be released soon thereafter. So that was a post on the message boards. But in the next couple months, you'll have to look forward to, finally, we're going to be inching closer to completing our online Champions of the Galaxy sets, and I will finally be able to have overviews for every single game edition, and certainly looking forward to that. But that is coming out as well. But Todd isn't the only one sort of dropping hints and spoiling news and not spoiling things, but giving out news. Our own Dark Menace, Tom, has been very active on Twitter, if you don't follow him on Twitter. And the first piece of news is that he says it's official. He'll be writing an update to his 2005 book, The Dark Menace of the Universe, and lots of fun material to cover from then and now. Looking for bonus materials, game card, and more to be included. Shooting for a release in just 11 months in December of 2022. So that new version of the Dark Menace of the Universe coming out. So very cool. And game card, and more. So very interesting. Here's another piece of information that Tom tweeted out just the other day on Twitter. Tom says the staring out the window, contemplating idea generation of Origins 2138 will be my focus for the next 6 weeks, followed by the free-form writing stages. The next 3 months are the most part of the fun. So there you go. 2138 is already this week tumbling around in Tom's head. And always excited because, one of my favorite releases of last year was 2137. And as you remember on the interview I did with Tom, he said that the big thing is happening in 2138. Like the major event of this Origin storyline is happening in 2138, or at least that was the plan. So very excited to see. But ladies and gentlemen, we've got one more thing. We've got one more thing we have to speculate about and to talk about. A new Champions of the Galaxy project. This is coming from 2 different tweets from Tom. And the first one says, working with one of our many talented artists on the Filsinger Games staff on some characters for an awesome new project for 2022. More on that later, but I'm having fun already. And then a second tweet, I think a day or so later, that says, I'm also designing new #COTG, Champions of the Galaxy characters, and game cards for a special release later this year. It'll be one of the coolest surprises in Filsinger Games history. So let the speculation begin on what this new thing is. Now, he did mention in that tweet about the Dark Menace of the Universe that will have a game card. Is that what he's talking about here? I don't think so. I think this is something else. And I have a guess, but I'm going to hang on to that guess just for a few minutes. And my guess is probably totally wrong. But anyway, new Champions of the Galaxy project coming in the new year, written by Tom. Very exciting and very cool to see him tweet about that. As always, we will keep our eye on Tom's Twitter feed to if there's any more things coming around. We've got some Legends of Wrestling news. Legends of Wrestling fans, you can check this out. The Legends Prime 2015 Handbook is now available for download. We've talked about this before. Pike Mojo has been working with the Legends team in creating handbooks for all of the Legends Prime releases. And it was actually right after we did the show last Friday that I believe it was Chad mentioned on the boards that the Legends Prime 2015 handbook was ready. So it is now ready. You can now download it. I will have a link to that in the show notes later tonight, so you'll be able to go right to it and download it. So very cool. As always, for all the latest information, you want to keep your eyes on FilsingerGames.com. I'm pretty positive very early next week we will have information about the Perennial, maybe even tickets on sale, because that was kind of mentioned on Roll Up that would be coming soon. As of the time we're recording this, it's not available yet, but maybe Monday or maybe later tonight. Maybe I'm just jumping the gun and it's a little bit early, but definitely keep your eyes and your browser refreshing on FilsingerGames.com for the latest information. Well, it's time for the match of the show. Last week, we crowned a brand new podcast grand champion in Crossfire, and I asked you, who should be the first opponent for Crossfire? And got an interesting list of choices. Vampiro from the Legends side of things. Blazing Skull, of course, very iconic that he would get mentioned. And Crossfire's partner, HelSin. So I put those 3 names into a randomizer. I randomized them all up. And the person who gets the title shot tonight is none other than HelSin. So let's roll for initiative. And we will ring that bell. And it looks like HelSin will start things off here. And he starts things off with a backhand to Crossfire. Crossfire shakes it off and rolls on level 2 and hits a choice A. And he is going to throw HelSin into the ropes. And HelSin comes off with a powerful flying shoulder tackle, and he will roll on level 2 offense. These two men know each other so well. HelSin rolls a choice A as well, and he is going to go for the power move that'll work on a 10 or less. He rolls an 8, so it does. That's going to be level 2 move, but Crossfire reversing it on level 1, hitting a back elbow on HelSin, and HelSin is dazed. Crossfire rolling again on level 1 into the turnbuckle, tosses HelSin into the turnbuckle. He's crushed by a big kick. Crossfire will roll on level 2 offense. Ooh, hitting the target 3 on HelSin. Hurt 2. Big move there from Crossfire. Limb twist 2 on HelSin. And HelSin's going to reverse it on level 2. Man, oh man. He locks in a stiff arm crowbar on Crossfire, who is down. Can HelSin capitalize on this? He hits Burial +1. The target is going to be 3. And the roll is a 7. So 1 fatigue for Crossfire. And the champ is in trouble. Stake to the heart, add 1. Crossfire now at 2 fatigue and rolling on level 3 defense, hurt 2. He's okay. Mallet thrust 3. HelSin has come to win this championship. Hurt 2. HelSin with the stiff arm crowbar again, and we're rolling pin again. All right, the target is going to be 4. The roll a 6. Crossfire just able to kick out, but now at 3 fatigue, and there is Burial again. It does not look good for Crossfire. So the target here is going to be 6, and the roll is 5. Ladies and gentlemen, your winner and new podcast grand champion is HelSin. So there you go. Who should HelSin face next week? Who should be HelSin's first defense? Crossfire didn't even keep the belt warm for a week before he loses it. But there you go. I would love to know who you think HelSin should defend against it next week on the match of the show. So please let me know in the comments when you're asking questions. But congratulations to our new champion, HelSin. Moving on to the question of the week. Last week I asked you, what is your bold prediction for Filsinger Games in 2022? And we had a lot of great predictions. Let's go through them here. Joel Scalamara said, would love another ringside personnel set. Maybe Mean Gene and David Crockett and a Tony Schiavone card. I would love that. That would be great. Carl Zilla says, I'm not well versed in augury, but my hopes for Filsinger Games in 2022 is to colorize a large majority of the remaining black and white only Legends cards. There aren't many left, so if a concerted effort was made, I think they would be. And then that actually message got cut off. But Mark Hitchison also seconded that. So looking to colorize a large majority of the remaining black and white Legends cards in 2022. Scotty Boy 9999 says, my bold prediction for the year is a big online overhaul. I think it's been on the back burner, but ready to get some love. As you know, I'm a big online player. I would absolutely love that as well. Moving on, Doug Fletcher says, as for my bold and likely wrong prediction, the Legends team will release an expansion dedicated to only enhancement talent. I love that, Doug. That is an amazing prediction. And you know what? I would absolutely love an enhancement talent set. I would use the heck out of it. Pariah says, for my bold Filsinger Games prediction, the remaining GWF sets 2113 through 2118 will be released online. Ambitious? Maybe, but I'm keeping the faith. I think you're right, because Todd pretty much confirmed that on the message board. So that is a great prediction. Joe M says, my bold prediction, early classics will get redone in color and online. Now, here's where my comment from earlier about the project Tom was working on comes in. What if we're going to get an updated in-color early classic set and Tom is doing some of the cards for it? I'm not saying that's what it is, because I actually have another idea too. But that would be an interesting idea. That would be great. Of course, I've already played through a bulk of early classics, so it would be frustrating if there's a bunch of new characters. But how cool would it be to get Tom in there writing some early classics cards and characters for an early classic set? Again, this is not my prediction. This was just, I'm trying to speculate, and that is my speculation. And I saved this one for last. Dave Little had a great prediction for 2022. 2022 will bring the return of Galacticon to Chicagoland. WWE and AEW will run competing Friday night shows in an effort to capture the loyalty of the Filsinger Games universe. You know it. You know that WWE and AEW are trying to capture the lucrative Filsinger Games universe market. So, though I think AEW would probably win, but you never know. So those are all your predictions, and they were all fantastic. My bold prediction for 2022, and I'll explain this a little bit. My bold prediction is that the Tragos Thez Hall of Fame set for 2022, I think this will be set, I think they call it set 3 or set 4. But anyway, the 2022 Tragos Thez Hall of Fame set will be even bigger than last year's set. Last year we had Kurt Angle, Gorilla Monsoon, Roddy Piper. The list goes on and on and on and on. I think this year is going to be even bigger. And here is why. Here is why I'm making this prediction. It's for a good cause. And we have already seen that people like Kurt Angle and Roddy Piper's family have really been behind it because it raises money for the Hall of Fame. And I think that snowball is gaining momentum. And my prediction for the year is that the set that comes out for the Tragos Thez Hall of Fame will have the biggest names we've seen to date, even bigger than last year. Is that going to be true? I don't know. But that's just what I'm thinking because it's such a good cause. And I think a lot of wrestlers and a lot of really big name wrestlers who maybe wouldn't necessarily just sign a release form for Filsinger Games would sign a release form if it benefits the Hall of Fame. So I'm really excited. That is my big prediction for the year. Moving on to the question of the show for next week. It is a little bit Legends related. What do you think the theme of the Legends Expansion 9 that we've already confirmed is coming out in first quarter this year will be? Now, we did, I believe it was Chad said that the theme is very broad. It's sort of a broad theme, but there is a theme. What do you think the theme will be? Now, someone recently posted, and I'm sorry if I don't have this right at the top of my head. Actually, I could look it up here really quick. Somebody on the message boards, and I will find their name right now, posted a list of all the it was Guilty Party posted a list of all the black and white cards that have not been put into color yet. So I think a good place to start when formulating your idea would be this list, because I would have to assume that a bunch of people on this list will get cards in Legends 9. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there'll be 8 completely brand new signings or more. So we will see. So that is the question of the next week. Answer in the comments, and we will go over your answers next week. I have a lot of stuff that came out on the YouTube channel this week. If you want to check it out, Hollywood Elite Wrestling episode number 61 was the trial of Baron von Raschke. If you missed it, go check it out. It was Baron von Raschke in, I think, 5 different matches because he was currently the lowest ranked guy in Hollywood Elite Wrestling. So it was a fun evening of action. I have 6, 7, and 8 cards, 6, 7, and 8 of my Memphis Championship Wrestling. Can I tell you, I'm having the biggest amount of fun with my Memphis Fed right now. So go check it out. Another video that got a lot of interest is I went through my collection of autographed Legends cards, and that was a lot of fun. I need to get more colored cards signed. Most of the cards I have signed were in black and white, but you can check that out. And then I did another game map video, but I think I have finally perfected the game mat layouts that I like, and you can check that video out. Well, kaboom! Here's a surprise, ladies and gentlemen. The first card announced for the Championship Wrestling from Hollywood Winter 2-pack is none other than Guy Tweakacetti. Probably not a huge surprise to everybody, but the party captain, Guy Tweakacetti, is going to get a card, and I'm very excited about this. He is known as the Party Captain, and he is known for throwing wild boat parties. Guy Tweekacetti is a highly energetic ringside presence in Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. Tweekacetti competes frequently in the ring for other California promotions and occasionally wrestles in Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, where in the most recent Red Carpet Rumble, he shocked many by entering at number 1 and lasting all the way to the end before finally being eliminated by the Red Carpet Rumble winner, Jordan Clearwater. In Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, however, Tweekacetti mostly manages the tag team of Rockin' Ricky Gibson and Precious Eddie Pearl. After Tweekacetti became their manager, Gibson and Pearl changed their name from 4 Minutes of Heat to Midnight Heat, adjusted their attitude, and proceeded to win more matches, and created a new song called Heat Street. Will Tweekacetti and his frenetic behavior lead to the Midnight Heat capturing the UWN Tag Team Championship in your Fed? I guess we're going to find out. So there you go. That is the first of 2 names announced for the new Championship Wrestling from Hollywood 2-pack. And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I already got the cards from the printer, and I've already put a bunch in envelopes, and I've already started sticking mailing labels on them, and a bunch of them will go out tomorrow. I have to wait to send out probably about half probably about 3/4 of them will go out in the mail tomorrow. And then I ran out of mailers. So as Todd knows, I've called I've placed an order at our friend's Uline, and I'll be getting some more mailers on Monday, and I will get the rest of them out. So the second name, some people may be already getting their cards before the second name is announced next week. Huge thanks to Zeke for doing the stats on these cards. Werner just killed the art. This is one of my favorite art pieces in a long time for this for this set, for the Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. Werner just killed it. And thank you for everybody. If you want to get a copy of this and you are not on my mailing list, please send me a message. You can message me on the message boards. My name is Toaster Boy. You could email me, grant@throwingtoasters.com, and I will get your name on the list. Or if you've moved, let me know ASAP, because a huge batch of these are going out tomorrow. As we wrap up here, I do want to give a shout out to all the other Filsinger Games Podcast Cinematic Universe shows. There is Uncharted Territory. They had an episode that came out today that was great with guest Mark Ashby. After Further Review with Steve Tower, which you can find on YouTube. Also on YouTube is Heartland Championship Wrestling with Dave Little. The official podcast of Filsinger Games, of course, Roll Up, available at filsingergames.com. And I'm really looking forward to next week's episode. That's all I'm going to say. The Dizzy Dice podcast with Lee Longpree. He just put out a new episode this week, so you can go check that out. And, of course, Brockster Builds on Twitch TV. You can check that out as well. And as we wrap up here, I want to invite everybody over to the Filsinger Games Fan Discord, your Discord location for all things Filsinger Games. You can get there by going to bit.ly, that's bit.ly/FGF Discord. bit.ly, bit.ly/FGF Discord, and you can join the conversation. We've been having there's a lot of conversation about AEW over there recently. I posed a question about negative finisher ratings, and we discussed that for a little bit, but it's a lot of fun. So bit.ly/FGF Discord, that's where you can go. There's an audio version of this podcast that's available wherever you get your podcasts. Just search for Filsinger Games at your favorite audio store, and it should pop right up. If you have a topic you'd like the show to cover, you can leave it in the comments. Make sure to subscribe or follow, whether you're watching on YouTube or Twitch, and follow GWF Promoter on social media at GWF Promoter. If you'd like to check out my personal feds, you can do so over at gwfpromoter.com and lowpromoter.com. I gotta redesign the Legends of Wrestling website a little bit, but it's still a work in progress. The theme song is American Guy by Throwing Toasters, used by permission and available on Apple Music, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your music. This podcast is not affiliated in any way with Filsinger Games or its subsidiaries. It's purely for entertainment purposes. And this episode is copyright 2022 Saturday Morning Media. Huge shout out to Michael Bratta, Derek Bauman, James Lawrence, Thomas Morgan, Todd Jorschel, Thad Killian, Carl Zilla, Todd Warzicki, and John Shingren, if I'm saying that right, Shingren. And that's everybody who has commented. If you did not comment in the chat, I still thank you for watching along and being part of the show. We will see you next week, ladies and gentlemen, for more Filsinger Games fun. And have a great weekend.